Welcome to Google Analytics and Webmaster tools for SEO or search.
Want quality and free information on search engine optimization? Click on the link found in the description of this video. Click now.
Search engine optimization in 2019. Learning and using Google Analytics and Webmaster tools has helped me a lot over the last 7 years as an entrepreneur online to build a website where I get traffic every day. Hundreds of people find me for free from Google search. That's what I'm here to help you with today in this tutorial. What I will do is give you two of the very most helpful tips right at the beginning. Then I'll show you some more in-depth walkthroughs, anything from getting to know analytics and Webmaster tools as a beginner to site speed suggestions, which can powerfully improve your place in search results. One of the most basic things that I see people miss in trying to rank their websites higher on Google is how fast your page loads. Google Analytics and Webmaster tools can help you with each of these. First, I'll show you just the basic thing you can look at over here in Webmaster tools. If you go to Webmaster tools, if you look on the left side of the interface in your search console under crawl stats, and then you look over here, time spent downloading a page in milliseconds. This should be as small as possible. And mine right now is 138 milliseconds on average, which is good in my opinion. That means the crawl stats are downloading my website pretty fast. I was able to achieve this by switching to a web host that is extremely fast and actually runs the servers on the same Google Cloud platform that Google uses for its services. Therefore, even though I've got a website with a lot of stuff on it that's not even all optimized as perfectly as it could be, my web host helps me stay fast. If you've got a page that loads fast and that can scale instantly, a web host that can give you the ability to scale instantly, that is critical for ranking high, because you might go viral and that might be your chance to rank really high, but if your website crashes, you've lost all that. The crawl stats in the Webmaster tools is a very good place to get a baseline of, from Google's point of view, how fast your page is loading to the crawler that comes through and checks your website. Hint, if Google is crawling your page and it's taking a long time for your page to crawl, that's not a good signal to Google about your user experience. Your users are probably having a much worse experience than the crawler. This is not a video about web hosting, but if you want to see what web hosting I use, you can go to jerrybanfield.com/resources, and I'm not even going to mention it here for just simplicity and a focus on the topic. What we've got in analytics that's also helpful is you've got a site speed tab. You can check for even more data. But what I'll show you right now on analytics, you want to make sure to be familiar with this behavior, all pages. You want to know what pages on your website are actually getting the most traffic, because this will help you find out what you're doing right. And you might be disappointed in your numbers. And the key is with this is to look and see every number is giving you an indication of what path to go down in the future. I see mine primarily free courses is the main page I'm getting traffic to. There's hundreds of people a day. This is over a 7-day period. There's over 200 people a day loading this page. That means that's worth more of my time and attention than most of the other pages on my website combined. Most of my other pages are not getting nearly as many people to them. And then this time travel is real as a blog post. And this is what helped me start doing a lot more blogging about just whatever I wanted to, because I never imagined this post would rank high. This post is pulling 100 people a day, all off organic search and referrals, which is incredible. Once you see what your top pages currently are, this provides guidance into, well, what can I do in the future to make more pages like this? Or what may be more important is, how can I make my good pages great? sometimes you can change them and they can become worse. But when you use these two tools, these are two things between the crawl stats and the all pages. These are the basic things that can help you out a lot to know in Google Analytics and Webmaster tools. Now, if you're just a beginner at this point, you're wondering how to get all this set up, how do I even get into this interface? I'm going to go into a lot more of that now. What you're watching is a free preview from an hour-and-a-half long course that I've just published today on Skillshare. My Skillshare is skillshare.com/r/Jerry Banfield. There's a link in the description to the exact course I'm talking about. If you find that you like listening to me talk and like taking my video courses, will you please go over to Skillshare, because you'll be able to watch there with no ads, purely focused on video courses and learning content, no gaming videos or anything like that. I think Skillshare is the best deal anywhere for students. You get 2 months, a free trial, which includes over 24,000 paid courses you get access to, many of which will cost you $10 each or more somewhere else. Then on Skillshare, you also get after the 2-month free trial, it's a few dollars a month or $96 a year to maintain this access. And after using other online teaching platforms and course hosting, this is such a good deal as a student that even though I make less money as an instructor focusing on Skillshare, I'm putting my stuff on Skillshare because it's the best deal for you. When you use my link, you'll also feel good about knowing that when you sign up for Skillshare directly using my link, I will get a $10 referral bonus. And for that, I'm very grateful, because that is about as much as I make from all the rest of my classes combined, the referrals plus the royalties. On Skillshare, instructors get paid by minutes watched. So if you have a choice, watching my courses on Skillshare helps me earn income for every minute you watch. Thank you for getting started with this free preview from Google Analytics and Webmaster tools from SEO. I filmed this beginning part to give you some tips right away up front. And then what I'm doing is I'll go through and give you a few lectures free from the course right here. And if you'd like more, I trust you'll go over to Skillshare and sign up there. This is the second time I filmed this intro because I left the Skillshare playing in the background talking over myself before. So I'm glad to get this done. I hope it's better than the one I did the first time. Once we get our content created on our website, what really helps us is to get some positive reinforcement, to see what actually is working. That way we can do more of it. Google Analytics makes that really easy. We can look on our website, see where we're getting traffic, see where people are coming in and what people are doing once they've entered our website. And that helps to guide us to say, okay, what are we doing that does work and how do we do more of that? Google Analytics, as we can see, is a freemium web analytics service offered by Google. It tracks and reports website traffic. It launched the service in November 2005. This is what the dashboard looks like for Google Analytics inside the admin menu. And if you go over to the home menu over here, the basic tracking might look something like this, which is cool because I can see there's 5 active users on my website right now. I can see exactly what pages people are on. And I can see how I acquire users, for example, social media, direct traffic, or other. These are some of the basic things, and you can get into a lot of advanced features, track how much individual pages are worth, sync this up with Webmaster tools, and you can really get crazy with all the things you can do in Google Analytics, users by time of day, etc. Now, this can be a helpful tool. At the same time, we can get lost in Google Analytics. We can put more time and energy in Google Analytics than we do into what we create. I use Google Analytics today to occasionally check on my traffic to see what people are looking at on my website and to get an idea for planning what to create in the future. I've spent a lot of time in the past trying to obsess over things, set up advanced features, track how much money each page was making, And I can say today most of that time was a waste, except for my ability to now teach you about Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a helpful tool to understand what we're doing right. When we try and start getting into the deep down tiny details of what users are doing, we often are better off just asking people what actual experience they're having on our website. For example, talking to our customers or our website users on the phone, or emailing back and forth. That qualitative data can help us get a better idea of the big picture. A lot of the time we might spend analyzing data in Google Analytics often doesn't give us the big picture of what the user's doing, and often Google Analytics does not include all of our traffic or give us even an accurate measurement of what people are looking at, because there's browsers now that have do not track by default. And there's other ways of accessing our websites that don't come up in Google Analytics at all. Therefore, Google Analytics is a helpful tool to quickly look at things like what web pages are getting the most views to guide us in our creative efforts. At the same time, I don't see it as something that is worth putting one person to do it full time or putting a ton of time and energy into, because to me, the primary focus is what we're creating and what we're sharing with others. If we can understand how to best do that, that's helpful. If we're taking so much of our time trying to understand what we're getting, so to speak, and what people are doing, then we're missing out on time to essentially create and give and do more. I appreciate you getting started with this Google Analytics section of the course, and I hope it's helpful for you to use Google Analytics. And this is the newest interface as of October 2018. To get started in Google Analytics, to even see any traffic, the first thing we need to do is add Google Analytics onto our websites. If you've got a website like I do with a WordPress theme and something like the Enfold theme, which is one of the most popular WordPress themes on the marketplace, the Envato marketplace, it's really super easy to get Google Analytics on. All we need to do is put our Google Analytics account number into the theme options under Google Services. This allows us to get Google Analytics on our website and start tracking the data. Obviously, you can't track any data until the code is actually on your website, and therefore, if you don't have the code on your website, you can't retroactively track anyone who's came through before the code was actually on there. What we do to get our code is we use our Google account in the analytics. You go to analytics.google.com and you'll start your analytics account. Then what you need to do is click on admin. Now this can be a little confusing, so I'll explain each of these really quick. There's 3 different levels. There's the account level. This should be used to group all of your properties by a common theme. For example, I've got my account as Jerry Banfield, and then each website I want to track with Google Analytics is an individual property. So the account level, what I did before, I didn't understand this. I made a different account for every property, and that's annoying. So you want to just do one Google Analytics account for each property. For example, if you have different clients, you might put each client in a specific account, and then you could track, say, a client's website, a Shopify store, etc., all in that one client's account. Or if you just have your own business like I do, you can just put all of your properties in one single account. So what I've got, I create. If you don't have an account already, you create one, then you name it whatever you want to. That'll group all those together. That's the account side. And this is where, if you want people to help and participate in analyzing and have access to all your properties, then you can do that in user management. This way, I can use user management on the account level to add one person who can then go in and look at all of my properties on this specific account, which can be helpful if you've got clients and you've got employees or coworkers. You can use the user management by account and then put people on specific accounts that way. Once you've got the account level, then within each account, you can do up to 50 properties. The properties are individual websites. You get the tracking code at the individual property level, which means what you're seeing the tracking code here is at the property level, meaning I could have 50 different websites that I want to track in one single account, which makes it easy. Then if I say have 50 websites, I can go to the account level, add one user on the account. They can then go in and view everything for all those different accounts. Once I've got a property, I create a property, and that's how I get my tracking code. So you have the account, and then you create a property in the account. That gives you your tracking info, which you can get to under tracking code over here. And then what you do is you got your tracking code, and you paste that into the website. Now you've got the actual code over here. So if you're doing your own website, or you need to put the code in directly, you use the global site tag you can use here, or you can use the Google Tag Manager. But if you got something like a WordPress theme where you can just put the tracking ID in, then you just put the tracking ID in like this. And I followed the instructions on here. You can either put your Google tracking ID or your full analytics tracking code in here. You can also, this has the option to give your visitors to stop being tracked. You can put the privacy Google tracking somewhere on the website also with that. And then if you have Google Maps in this exact WordPress theme, you can put the API key in there also. This is what you need to do in order to get tracking started on your website. Google also has a new option to send test traffic, where you can put the code on and then send test traffic over to it. It can take up to 30 seconds, it said. And note, if you've got your website has caching, you may need to clear the cache to get the code to actually load on your website. I'm grateful I've got 7 active users right now, so I can show you while I'm doing this that the code is really working. One of them hopefully is me, and then there's a few other people on the website, which is cool. Once you've got the property level, you can go back to the admin interface over here. Then you have individual views that you can make within a specific property. So you've got the account level. You got the account, which includes all the properties. Then each property is an individual website or application to track. Then within each property, you can do specific views that just show certain settings. I don't use any of these individual view settings because this is more than I need right now to just guide my content creation. What I have done a lot of in the past is linking Google AdWords accounts and AdSense accounts, and then doing remarketing. So if you want remarketing, though, you need to go in and link Google AdWords accounts, like you've got my Google AdWords account linked here, and then you need to go into audiences, and you need to put in these audience accounts to start your remarketing. That you do at the individual property level, and you need to go back into Google AdWords to do it. The Google AdWords remarketing can be an incredibly powerful tool, especially if you want to do something like having remarketing ads back to your website, or some kind of affiliate system where you have people come to a page, then you've got them on a remarketing list, then you can run targeted ads just to people who've been to those pages. You do all that at the property level, and in the admin part is where you can link up each of these different accounts. I appreciate you taking a look inside of the Google Analytics admin dashboard, and I hope this is helpful for you to get started. For the best user experience, Google Analytics has a helpful tool to look into site speed now. This is pretty new, and if you go over under the behavior tab, and then you click on site speed, and then you get overview, you can then go in and see the average page load time, which can give you an idea of the user experience you're getting on your website. So I went over here, selected a longer view time, and then I'm able to get into the average page load time. Now, what Google Analytics does is takes a sample of the people browsing the website, and then it takes how long they take to load the page. Now, this is one of those areas where you might be able to find some opportunities to improve the speed of your website, and generally making a website faster makes a better user experience, and a better user experience helps to rank higher in search. My average page load time here is actually pretty slow because I haven't paid much attention to the page load over time. Now, this can be skewed by certain really slow pages on the website, and we can go in and look in more detail at this. This can also be skewed significantly based on the browser speed and where users are loading from. For example, I can go into country over here and check my site speed, and then I can see that the average page load time varies greatly by the particular countries that are loading the page. These countries over here, very quick page load time, and then I can view the full report and I can see where I'm getting a lot of those really slow page views from, and then the slow page views can help me understand where my opportunities for improvement are. So if I go over here and I'll go over on this and do the average page load time, I can look at it by country now, and I can then see where the longest page load times are. So I can see there's a couple of countries like St. Vincent, Venezuela, Tanzania, Bangladesh. These may be heavily skewing my page load times. These might be giving me a lot of essentially artificially high page load times in the average. And if I go over here and show more countries, I can then see how I can go get a better view of how a lot of the different countries are loading. And this can help too based on the amount of traffic. So I can see what my page views are by country over here. I can see that the US and India and the UK and Canada, Pakistan, Australia have the most actual page views on my website. Therefore, these are my primary countries to consider how fast the page is loading. And then I can look in the page load time by specific country also. So I can see Bangladesh over here is loading significantly slower, and I can see Mexico's loading significantly slower over here. And this helps me get a better picture of my total page load time, and I can go over to average page load on here and scroll down and look and see what the page load time is by country. Now in the US, you can see my page load time is 13 seconds in the US, which then if the site average is 20 seconds, then my US page load time might give me a lot better idea as to what my kind of real page load time is based on my user experience. But then this is by individual pages as well. So if I look by the primary dimension, if I look by page instead of by country, what I can see in the full report when I click on the lower right over here, I can see that certain pages are loading a lot faster than others. And in fact, really it's certain pages on my website that are having the very slowest load time. So this is the slowest load times on my website. I can see which websites are loading, which pages on my website are loading the very slowest, and this can potentially be skewing my time over here. This can provide good opportunities for optimization. For example, I could see, oh, okay, these pages are loading slow. I can intentionally go in and say optimize the images or make some changes to help those pages load faster, which could help get more traffic to those specific pages. Now, for me, this doesn't make too much sense to put too much effort into individual pages unless they're already getting a lot of traffic on the website, in which case it could help a lot. For example, the YouTube channel copyright strike, I noticed that page was loading pretty slow and that page is getting a good amount of views. I might be able to optimize the page to load faster, and then I might be able to rank a lot higher with the page loading faster because people would come through, and with the page loading faster, there'd be less click back, which would reduce the amount of negative signals to Google, essentially, of the user experience, which will help my page rank higher. Honestly, as with all the stuff I've got in my business, I can't be bothered to go in and try and optimize pages because I could create a video and a post that'll turn into 1,000 page views a month. It's just as easily as I could go in and try and optimize some of these. Now, in the past, I've went through and tried to optimize some of the individual pages to maximize traffic, but now I focus mostly on site-wide optimizations. And you can get some good site-wide optimizations when you go into overview of this page timings. You can go into the speed suggestions tab on the right. So if you click on speed suggestions over here on the right underneath behavior, site speed, speed suggestions, then what you can do is get some recommendations from Google as to what you can do to make your website faster. Now, the upside of doing some of these, if you go click back over here on the page speed suggestions, you can click this and Google will pull some suggestions for individual pages to speed them up, and it's ranked in order of page views, which is really nice. And you'll notice the suggestions are often the same, therefore these are site-wide changes that can be made, and that often the best bang for your buck, the best return for your time and energy is to do site-wide optimizations that will increase the speed of the entire website. Now, the downside of doing this is sometimes you can change things that, if not done correctly, you can break your website, screw a whole bunch of things up on it, which of course I've done stuff like that before. So it's definitely something you want to back up. If you're going to try some of these page speed suggestions, you want to back up your website before you try and change big things like how the images load or turn off certain CSS optimizations. You want to make sure to back your website up in case you break it, and then you can just restore to a previous version. And you might want to research and Google some of the speed suggestions. Some of these are limited by specific themes. My Enfold theme here, some of the complaints I've seen with it are people saying it loads slow. Therefore, if you're using something like a WordPress theme, you may have limited abilities to speed up and follow some of the page speed suggestions. And the speed suggestions are by desktop and mobile. Sometimes your theme might work. Mine works really fast on a mobile device. It loads significantly slower on desktop. Therefore, you do the best with what you've got. It's a matter of trying to focus your time and energy on where do you get the highest return. Where can you go in and make a few changes that'll make a big difference? And sometimes improving the top page on your website, making it a bit faster, you can rank higher in search, and that can bring in a lot more traffic than trying to fool around on a bunch of the lower traffic pages. That said, sometimes you can lose traffic to your top page and you can have wasted time on that. So you just do your best with it each day and try and consider how you're using all of the time you have available to make the best improvements for every user on your website, which should generally be site-wide changes, but occasionally you can use this speed suggestions tab over here and site speed tab to find some things you might be able to change pretty quickly on some of your top pages that'll help get a lot more organic search traffic that way. On the overview page of our Google Webmaster Tools, we get a basic look at our overall performance given whatever time period we've got it on. I've got here, this is 90 days. I can see the total search clicks on any individual day over a period of 90 days. And this helps me then see the trends over time, which you want stability, and wave movements are natural. You can also see the coverage. You obviously really want to know how many pages are indexed in Google search, because if you don't have a page indexed, it's not going to be in there. If you've got it set up by default and you haven't messed with anything, it should get indexed soon enough in Google, especially if you do something like tweet it or you've got your sitemap uploaded and synced. Then, for example, on my page right now, I've got 1,400 valid pages indexed in Google. Then you've got this mobile usability down here, which is important to make sure your website is working on mobile devices. What we can do then, on the left side of the map, we've got additional tabs we can use. The links tab gives us a look at our top pages over here. This shows where the external links are. Now, this just looks at all the external links we have. So for example, I had a voting bot on Steam that was dropping my contact page. So that's linked my contact page 47,000 times. Then this is the total number of external links to the rest of my website, 5,000 links to jerrybanfield.com. And then you can see my top linked pages there. I can also see my top linking sites over here, as I said, with the voting bot on Steam. All these were linked a bunch from Steam. Then I can see the YouTube over here, thousands of links on mostly my own videos. I can see the text that was linked in proximity to the pages. And then I can see the top linked pages. These are internal links, so pages I've linked on from one page to another within my website. In the settings tab, we've got users and permission ownership verification. We've got the mobile usability tab, which shows us how well my property, it shows us if there's any problems for mobile devices on my website. I've got the sitemaps tab on here, and I've had some issues submitting the sitemap. I'll try it again in the new interface. On the coverage, this shows where my pages are in Google and which aren't. I've got a lot of excluded pages, and I'd imagine most of these are media files, which is fine. The valid ones, I've got, if you look at my website, I've got thousands of pages on it. I have 600 blog posts, and then I've got almost 1,000 more pages that are indexed. So that's what I want. And I don't need, you actually don't want low quality pages in the Google index, because those can actually bring your ranking down. So it's okay if there's some excluded over here. You want to focus on the valid. I can inspect individual URLs with the URL inspections. Then I can get a more detailed look at the exact type of search and the exact click-through and the exact position and the exact keywords I'm ranking on in here. Now, all of these provide a good opportunity to get lost in the data. And again, it helps to take a look, learn some things, and then focus on what we're contributing and adding to our website. This is an overview and introduction of the basic things you can do in the the new version of the Google Search Console. Wow, you are one of the only people who made it all the way to the end of the video, or you skipped ahead and just wanted to hear the sales pitch. I think, given that you got here, there's a very high likelihood you'll love learning with me on Skillshare, because it's just learning and class videos there, nothing else for you to get distracted by, no ads either. When you sign up for Skillshare, you get access to all my classes, plus 24,000 other classes from instructors, all for 2 months for free to start. And then it's a few dollars a month, or something like $96 a year for membership. It's the best deal, in my opinion, for anything I've seen for students. Even though as an instructor, I make less doing it this way. I am doing it this way because this is the best deal for you. And I am a student myself, so I like it this way too. I wish every instructor would put their course on Skillshare. A lot already do. And I generally won't go anywhere else to watch a course outside of Skillshare or YouTube. If you'd like to join me on Skillshare, will you please use my link either in the description to go to this course where you can watch the rest of it, or the link at the top here, skillshare.com/r/Jerry Banfield. Because when you use my link, you'll feel good knowing you're helping me earn $10 when you sign up directly through my link. Skillshare is very happy to know exactly how you got here, and they're very happy to give me $10 knowing that that's how we made the connection. What an awesome deal for all of us, right? Skillshare gets another user. You get 24,000 courses available for free for 2 months. I get $10. Everyone wins, right? Actually, no. The course platforms charging one-time sales, and people and universities charging a fortune for education, they lose in this equation. That's a future I see, is with education on Skillshare, where a family can pay $96 a year and educate their children with practical, real-world skills that provide fantastic value. I see Skillshare as providing an opportunity to level the playing field educationally all over the world, and I'm grateful to be a part of that today. I love you. You're awesome. Thanks for making it to the end of this video, and I hope it was useful for you today. I imagine I might see you on Skillshare soon in the comments or in the class project.
Want quality and free information on search engine optimization? Click on the link found in the description of this video.